Thank you, Shannon, so much, and welcome everybody. I'm Tanya Manning, and I am the U.S. Wealth Practice Leader and Chief Actuary at Buck, and also past president for both the Society of Actuaries and the International Actuarial Association. In addition, I'm a founding member of the Conference of Consulting Actuaries Women in Consulting Community, and I am thrilled to be here as part of our celebration of Women's History Month. Just one day past International Women's Day, and to have assembled with me today 5 women. And for the first time ever, we are in a moment, all 5 of the actuarial associations that are based in the United States currently have women as presidents. Now, we're not here just to celebrate this awesome moment in time, but we're here to also learn a bit from these women and understand their journeys and pathways to their leadership roles. I think you're going to find it very interesting and to understand what has inspired them along the way. Maybe that'll inspire you, and you'll probably get a little bit of good advice as we go along. Now, for those of you who might be interested in a more intimate conversation about some of the topics and ideas that were presented today, there will be a smaller group discussion, kind of a lunch discussion, if you will, sponsored by the Women in Consulting Community of the CCA, and that's going to be on March 15th. So if you want to find that out, you'll be able to drill in and have a little bit more of a discussion on what we're talking about today. But without any further ado, I would love to kick things off by hearing a little bit from each of our panelists. So if each of you could just take a couple of minutes, introduce yourself and your thoughts about what it means to you to be in your respective positions at this exciting time for the actuarial profession. And I'm going to start off with Ms. Jennifer Gillespie. Jennifer.
Thank you, Tanya. I'm Jennifer Gillespie, and I am serving as president of the Society of Actuaries. I'm a health actuary, and I'm based in the Minneapolis-St. Paul. I'm actually retired at this point, and I retired to do things that were fun, challenging, and fulfilling in my volunteer life. And one of those things is definitely being president of the SOA. Kathy, I'd love to hear more about you.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer. So I'm Kathy Antonello, and I am the current president of the Casualty Actuarial Society, the CAS. And I'm also president and CEO of Employers Holdings. We're a monoline workers' compensation carrier with a national footprint, and we are based in Reno, Nevada. So it's just an honor to be with all of you today and support and hopefully inspire the other women on the call that are in the profession or those that are just thinking about entering the actuarial career path. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'll turn it over to you, Ellen.
Thank you. I'm Ellen Kleinsteiger, and I'm the current president of the Conference of Consulting Actuaries. I'm also the chief actuary at Bolton and member of the executive leadership team. I'm currently living outside of Cleveland, Ohio, but I originally grew up in Pennsylvania, so I spent most of my career in the Philadelphia market, and has ties back to Baltimore as well. I'm a pension actuary working in a more traditional consulting role, and I focus on single employer plans, associations, not-for-profits, and then I also dabble a little bit in post-retirement medical, public sector pension as well. And for me, my path to being CCA president started when the nominating committee called and asked if I would be willing to serve. And honestly, I would have rather had another year or 2 before I took this role on. But I found out that that would mean that CCA would, for the first time in their history, have back-to-back women presidents, and I would get to follow Maria Sarli, who was our president last year. And I thought, wow, the chance to make history is cool. And I had absolutely no idea what was about to come and what the other associations had going on. So I want to take a moment, give a heartfelt thanks to Jennifer, Kathy, Mary Ellen, and Virginia for agreeing to do this, and congratulate them on their roles as well. And it's really, really cool to make history with the 4 of you. Mary Ellen, I think you're up next.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Mary Ellen Coggins. I'm the current president of the American Academy of Actuaries. I'm a consulting actuary with PricewaterhouseCoopers. And my practice area is P&C with a specialty focus in enterprise risk management. I can just say it has been a complete honor to serve as the president of the Academy thus far, and to really continue to volunteer in support of our amazing profession. And yes, I am so thrilled that my year in this role is one in which each of the actuarial organizations is led by a woman. It's just a great, great honor. Over to you, Virginia.
Thank you. Hi, I am Virginia Wentz. I am a pension actuary and the current president of the American Society of Enrolled Actuaries. My day job is the Director of Actuarial Services at the Man Marblestone Group, which is based out of the Philadelphia area. I am also honored to be representing my peers at ASEA, and I know there's been a lot of women ahead of me, behind me, however you want to say it, in the past, but I feel fortunate to be in this role where the stars have aligned and all 5 of the U.S. actuarial organizations are being led by women. So that's an exciting time, and it's a privilege to be in this position, and proud to be part of this historical group.
All right, thank you so much. So I hope you all agree we do have an impressive panel. So looking at the group I have before me, you all have really important leadership roles that are supporting our profession here in the US. So when you think about the path that's led you to where you are today, who would you consider to maybe be some of your role models that kind of led you or guided you or inspired you as you came along? And I'll start with you, Mary Ellen.
Okay, great. Let's see, while I've had many, many role models and mentors along the way, the person who comes to mind so vividly for me is Mary D. Miller. Mary was a P&C actuary, an insurance regulator, and a long-time and award-winning volunteer of the Academy and past president of the Academy. I met Mary when I first started volunteering and was fortunate to be able to spend more time with her at NAIC meetings when I was the chair of the Actuarial Standards Board, and she was presenting to the NAIC on the Academy's behalf. Mary was exceptionally strong. She spoke with extraordinary clarity. She was a fierce advocate of the profession, and she consistently encouraged the ideas of others. And I continue to think of Mary with awe when I think about what she gave to the profession over so many years. And for anyone interested in learning a bit more about Mary's journey into the profession, there's a great short video on the Academy's website that captures segments from interviews with leading women in the profession, including Mary. And the video is entitled "A Great Career for a Man." It really truly highlights just how far women have come in our profession. A great viewing if you have the chance. Jennifer?
Yes, that's lovely. I think that we have many mentors as we go along. And sometimes, excuse me, sometimes I don't think we know who they are at the time that we're actually interacting with them. And it may be later that we realize the influence that they had on the path that we take or the way that we handle things. Somebody who is definitely a mentor for me was my father. And that would be really in sort of the business aspect of things and business ethics. And one of the sayings that we always have is, a deal is fair if you would take either side. And I think that's a really important way for us to conduct our business, to think about, what's the perspective of the other party that we're working with. So I always carry that with me. And I think that any of us here could be actually inspiring some next leaders in the future. I certainly hope we are. And sometimes you have intentional mentors and sometimes they're the unintentional ones. Kathy.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, when I think back, I guess over my 36 years in the industry, and it's hard to believe it's been that long, but I've been fortunate enough to work with really some of the brightest actuaries in the business, and many of them rose to to, you know, some of the highest positions, right, of like partners in their firm or CEO. And, you know, throughout my career, I think what I've tried to do is emulate those characteristics that I most admired in every single one of them, right? So, you know, one may have been, you know, had a really commanding presence in a room, and another may have been very thoughtful and caring. And then, you know, someone else may have just been able to analyze a financial statement in record time or something, you know. So when I look back, I don't think I really had one single role model, but I would like to think that I've tried to pick up the best elements of everyone that I've worked with. I guess, though, you know, I'd also add that you can learn an awful lot from those that aren't necessarily role models and people you don't necessarily want to aspire to be like. You know, so you just have to remember that when you work with difficult people, the lessons are really endless, right? And you can emerge more resilient and with a really clear picture of some of the qualities that you don't want to emulate in people. So, you know, I'd like to think I just have looked back over my career and throughout seen that there are lessons to be learned everywhere and from everyone.
Thank you all three. Those are beautiful things to share. And what I'm hearing is, you know, inspiration comes from many different ways and role models. It could be a family member, it could be another volunteer that you really admire, or you can just pick things along the way, as I like to do with myself, Kathy. Everyone, you can learn a little bit of something and to refine your style and approach from almost everyone you meet. And that could be an actuary, it could not be an actuary, it could be someone at your company. And it doesn't have to be a woman, it can be anyone. But, you know, there's always people out there who are going to do things just the way that you want to do it, or absolutely the way that you don't want to do it, right?
Yes.
So thank you very much.